everyone, and welcome back to your own channel, Capsulated Breakthrough. I am back again with another new video, and in today's video, we will be discussing about the frequency division multiplexing, the importance of this thing, and how it works, and where we can see, and what is the advantages of frequency division multiplexing. So, as you all know, my name is Syed Irfan, and I am pursuing my electronics and communication engineering from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering, Bangalore. Before starting this video, I would like to request you to go and check on all the videos we've been posting and comment down any suggestions you need to give. So let's start by understanding what actually FDM is. So where do we use FDM? What is frequency division multiplexing? And this thing is one of the major things which we use in telecommunications. Well, what is telecommunication? To those who don't know what is telecommunication, with a small example, I can tell you that you pick your phone and you've been calling someone, and you have to call someone, you have to make a contact with someone, you call them, you dial their number, you ring that number, and suddenly someone from the other end of this place, someone from the other end of the country, picks your call, and you can talk smoothly with them without any interference. This is telecommunication. And how does this happen? How that I am a person who I am sitting in Bangalore and I'm able to talk with one of my friend who is in Delhi, who is in Mumbai. And how is this possible? This is what we will be seeing in this video. And how does FDM plays a major role in this telecommunication is what we will be seeing today. So let's read the slide and understand what this is trying to tell us. Understanding frequency division multiplexing FDM. Multiplexing is a technique used to combine multiple signals into one channel medium. Well, for multiplexing, let me give you an example. FM radio, right? We've heard of FM radio before television existed, before the birth of television into the Indian telecommunication services. We had something called as radio. Yeah, not us, but then our parents, our grandparents would have used this a lot. Whenever there was a India and Pakistan match, the radios were on and live commentary went to a peak. And how do you think these radio communication channels in today's generation, like 93.5 radio FM or many other frequencies of channels, how do you think these are able to get us the songs or the information from the different plays and into a single channel? Well, what do these radio channels do that they have a huge bandwidth of frequencies where there are multiple frequencies, and these frequencies combine together, and these are sent towards the channels of radio, and one of the frequency which we desire to, for example, there are many frequency band channels: 93.2, 93.5, 93.7, 95.2. There are hell a lot of the frequency channels in this bandwidth, but I want to access 93.5, and these the frequencies combine, and the frequency which I need reaches to me. This is what FDM does. FDM multiplexing is a technique which is used to combine multiple signals, like different signals, into a single medium or channel. Okay, it has unique frequency bands. What does that mean? Each signal is allocated in a distinct frequency band to prevent interference. What does this mean to say? That every single signal is allocated to a distinct frequency. For example, there's a different frequency for 93.5. The 93.5 itself, this name, that radio Mirchi 93.5, 93.5 itself is the frequency. The frequency itself is a 93.5 frequency band. Prevent interference. There are different frequencies to prevent interference, so that these frequencies do not collide with each other, so that I can access the proper radio channel I want to access. This is how the radio stations work. Okay. And okay, simultaneous signal transmission. What do we mean by simultaneous signal transmissions? Okay, see, in the networks we don't see signals moving, but if we actually could see, if our eyes were actually meant to see the signals transmitting, we could see thousands and thousands of signals all over the sky, moving in numerous numbers. The sky would have looked colors, traffic marketing, the kind of a traffic spread over the sky. This simultaneous signal transmission becomes very important, and FDM plays a very major role in transmitting the signals in an appropriate manner. FDM enables the transmission of the multiple signals at the same time. That means that frequency division multiplexing helps in helps us in transmitting different various signals of the different bandwidths to travel to transmit in the same time. Okay, now combinations of channels. See, one radio stations might have different channels, like All India Radio. We, from our childhood, our parents, our grandparents, as they've been telling, from their childhood, they've been following through the All India Radio channel. And this channel itself has different frequencies. They combine different channels, different frequencies, and they have a targeted audience to whom they have to present different kind of frequencies. Like kids, like the Gen Z people like to listen to different rap songs. The old age people, the 90s people like the slow songs. So the audience is different, and the radio channels have to target their audience. And this is also done by FDM. Multiple channels are merged onto a single communication medium for efficient data transfer. Okay, now what is the purpose of FDM? Why FDM is used? Why do we need FDM to transfer smooth signals to smooth frequencies? Well, efficient utilization of available bandwidth, allowing multiple signals to share the same channel without interference. Too much of English here, too much of too many words which we don't understand. Let us try to break this and understand what is the main purpose of FDM, right? Efficient utilization, which means that the proper utilization, accurate utilization to be clear, the accurate utilization, the purposeful utilization of the network, of the frequency of the channels is done by the FDM of available bandwidth. That means the channels we have in the particular band, the bandwidth means like from the frequencies of two frequencies to 100 to 200 frequencies. The 100 frequencies which come in between this becomes a bandwidth, and the frequencies within this bandwidth which exist in the bandwidth, the proper utilization of these frequencies is ensured by FDM. Okay, and to share the same channel without interference. We share the channel. If we get this channel, for example, I am going from one place to another. Okay, and I am listening to Mirchi 93.4, and I have just crossed Bangalore. I'm still getting the Bangalore station radio channel connectivity frequency, and I've crossed Bangalore. I'm going to Mysore from Bangalore. As soon as I cross the Bangalore outskirts limit, I will receive less frequencies. The frequency bandwidth will decrease, and I will face error. But till the time I can connect to the All India Radio in Mysore, if it exists, till that time, or any other frequency which I can get, till the time I can see errors, I can see the frequency gaps happening. So to reduce this, FDM plays a very major and a very vital role. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Components of FDM system. So what components are there in the FDM which make the which helps the run in the huge run of the FDM, and what makes us it is very very important. Okay, so key elements in the frequency division multiplexing system. What are the key elements? What makes the system run in an accurate level? So first is demultiplexer. What is a demultiplexer? What does a demultiplexer do? Okay, this is something which extracts and separates the individual signals from the combined transmission. Now, what does this mean? Honestly, it's important for us to understand what every line tells us, not just to read it. Anyone can read this. Okay, if I can just open this line. I can be like, okay, extracts, separates individual signals. Anyone can do this. The main purpose behind me making these videos is that we understand how the process behind this works. How this thing, we have to understand this rather than just by hatting and going and writing our exams. Right. So, okay, extracts and separates the individual signals from the combined transmission. See, the radio channels which we can see, I've been taking this example of all in the radio channels to make this very simplified to you people. Okay, so for example, the radio channels have a huge number of frequencies, many channels. These channels travel together in a fun form, but then we have to extract. We, as the listeners of the radio channel, we want a particular frequency to be extracted from them and to be reached to us. For this, the demultiplexer plays a huge and a very vital role. Demultiplexer is a thing which the extracts, exactly, yeah, extracts the particular frequency channel which we need. Okay, and then the receiver. What does a receiver do? It decodes and separates the combined signals back into the individual channels. If there is the no, if we don't have receiver, we cannot. The work of demultiplexer cannot be accompanied, cannot be accomplished without the presence of receiver. Until and unless receiver decodes and separates these multiple channels into a single individual component, we cannot get the desired radio signal, the desired frequency where we can enjoy the songs or we can enjoy the podcast which we actually want to listen. Okay. Now, the transmitter. What is a transmitter? We see huge signal, huge telecommunicating signals, huge telecommunicating towers, every distinct distances we go. What is the actual use of these towers? These towers are the ones which are helping us to communicate telecommunication into different frequency networks. While the transmitter, it is responsible for combining multiple signals into a signal transmission. What does the transmitter do? Different, like there are multiple signals. I told you the sky is full of signals, many signals moving from one place to another. A transmitter plays a vital role where it combines the multiple signals into unique transmission signal. At the end comes the multiplexer. What does the multiplexer do? The multiplexer allocates distinct frequency bands to each signal for simultaneous transmission. Again, see these are the FDM itself is a very complex thing to understand, and upon that it has many huge words, heavy sounding words, which usually make students feel Man, this is so so not right for me. This is very difficult for me. But if we actually understand how FDM works, it's very easy. It's a bite of a cake to understand it. Okay, so let's decode everything we read. The simple phenomena behind understanding is decode it, split it, and understand what every word has to tell us. So, multiplexer, what does it do? Allocates distinct, excuse me, it allocates distinct frequency bands to understand each signal for simultaneous transmission, which means it spreads the different frequency bands. Like the bands are coming in a huge gap, and this spreads the different frequency bands so we can access, we can allocate ourselves to a simultaneous frequency which is to be accessed by us. For example, there are thousands of frequencies, channel frequencies coming together. What multiplexer does is spreads them over and helps us to choose the frequency which we want, to extract the frequency from there which we want. Okay, I hope you have understood this slide. Any questions from this slide? You feel you can put it down in the comment section as usual. This is what we've been doing in the past every videos, and this is what we'll be doing coming videos also, because I would like to make this session, the video sessions also more interactive to you. Any questions you have in your mind about each slide, after every slide, I will be asking you questions. If you have any questions in your mind, you can put it down in the drop box, in the comment box. I will surely reach back to you. Okay, now moving back to the next question, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, the next slide. This slide tells us about the benefits, the advantages of FDM. What are the advantages of frequency division multiplexing? Why frequency division multiplexing is something which is very important to us. Okay, enhancing communication efficiency with frequency division multiplexing. You would feel if I've been reading this, if you've been listening to me very carefully, you will feel, you'll have this question like, how can FDM enhance the communication network? What vital role does FDM play in enhancing and in getting a good communication or an enhancing communication efficiency? Now, by reading this slide and understanding and solving it to each other, we will understand how this happens. Okay, efficient bandwidth utilization. By this term, we can understand that we are utilizing the bandwidth we have. I told you the bandwidth is the number of frequencies you can have within this width. That is, for example, from 100 to 200, you can have 100 frequencies in networks. Okay, so efficient utilization of the bandwidth. FDM optimizes the use of available bandwidth by dividing it into distinct frequent bands for transmitting multiple signals currently. Well, FDM is something, it's a very smart thing that FDM divides the present band. Maybe we have a band of 1,000 capacity. FDM divides this into 100 different bands, and which helps us to access the proper frequency which we want easily. FDM plays kind of a divide and rule, like how Britishers used to play with India, divide them and then rule them easily. That's the inspiration we can tell that FDM has taken from us. Okay, jokes apart, coming back to the main topic, FDM actually divides the main frequency and get the distinct network distinct multiple signals. Okay, next, simultaneous signal transmission. Now, what do we understand by simultaneous signal transmission? Okay, FDM enables the simultaneous transmission of the multiple signals over a shared medium. enhancing communication and capacity of efficiency. Okay, so FDM ensures the simultaneous transmission, like continuous transmission of multiple signals. Because I have told you this many times that there are thousands of multiple signals actively moving every second, every millisecond. There is no stop. I hope we had eyes where we can look up in the sky and see different signals moving in a speed. Like skies full of colors, lines moving in this. Thankfully, we don't have this kind of eyes. Okay, and hopefully we never do, because that would look very weird in the sky. Our sky looks very beautiful the way it is. Okay. Okay. The FDM helps us to transmit the simultaneous signals and multiple signals over a shared medium, enhancing the communication. Multiple signals, because I have told you this many times that there are thousands of multiple signals actively moving every second, every millisecond. There is no stop. I hope we had eyes where we can look up in the sky and see different signals moving in a speed. Like skies full of colors, lines moving in this. Thankfully, we don't have this kind of eyes. Okay, and hopefully we never do, because that would look very weird in the sky. Our sky looks very beautiful the way it is. Okay. Okay. The FDM helps us to transmit the simultaneous signals and multiple signals over a shared medium, enhancing the communication capacity and making it fast and quicker. Okay. Reduce interference. See, whenever a signal transmission happens, whenever you are in areas where there are no network poles, you can see there is interference when you call someone. Maybe when I am calling one of my friend, I can feel interference. I cannot hear his voice properly. I can feel the sound of this kind of sound comes. Okay, yeah. So this kind of sound comes, and this is called as interference in the frequency, and your frequency networking is not clear. You can have interference in your frequencies. Okay, and this is the why we have to keep doing this. What it does is, by allocating non-overlapping frequencies bands to different signals, FDM minimizes interference between channels, ensuring data integrity. Okay, now coming to the scalability and flexibility. So what is the scalability? What is the scalability and flexibility? FDM offers scalability by accommodating additional signals through the allocations of new frequency bands. Well, man, again, this terminologies make it very boring. The scalability of FDM is FDM offers the accommodating additional signals through the allocation of new frequency bands, providing a flexible communication network. Simple. It provides us a very easy communication network, a very flexible communication network where multiple signals can be transmitted easily. This is what FDM does if you have to put it on in single paper. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Again, if you have any questions on this slide, kindly do favor to us and help us understand this. Okay, okay. Moving on to the next slide. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Limitation analysis. Okay, challenges and limitations of FDM. What are the challenges of FDM? Like, what challenges do we see in FDM in day-to-day life? That becomes a very, rule vital to understand this. See, any good thing, anything in this world which comes with advantages also has limitations. There's nothing which is perfect in this world. We have to understand that. FDM has its own advantages, but also the FDM has its own limitations. So let's go to the limitations and see what does FDM lag behind. Navigating the hurdles of frequency division multiplexing. First one, potentials for crosstalk interference. So the crosstalk interference is same. When I am into communicating with one of my friend, how can FDM be, resolved? How can we develop FDM so that we do not have frequency interference and we can have personal talk to the extent level and without any interference, without any noises, without any cutting of calls, without any breakage of the frequencies? FDM faces this kind of risk of signal interference between different frequency channels, impacting data integrity. Moving on to the next, precise frequency allocation. Well, does FDM not allocate frequency precisely? Let's check on. A critical requirement in FDM. Accurate frequency allocation is essential to prevent overlap and ensure seamless data transmission. Well, if FDM was precisely allocated, it would ensure seamless data transmission without any loss of data. I think even today, FDM has been developed to the kind of range that it can ensure the data transmission without any loss. Okay. Higher complexity in the transmitter and receiver design. Implementing FDM demands in intricate design consideration for both transmitted and receivers, increasing system complexity. Limited by available frequency spectrum. Okay, it is limited. The FDM is limited with its frequency spectrum. The effectiveness of the FDM is constrained by the finite frequency spectrum. Well, limiting its scalability to multiplexing. Maybe in future this can be used in a wider range with a great bandwidth, with a huge spectrum. Hopefully, there's someone engineers from you who can come up, maybe me, maybe someone else who can come up with the solution for this. What again, if you have any question, drop down in the comment box. I will be irritating you guys by asking this question because I need the questions to be answered. Moving on to the next slide. What does the next slide tell us? Diverse application of FDM in telecommunication. See, I've always telecommunication and FDM is interlinked. Okay, sorry, yeah, I'm moving myself down so that you guys can clearly see the slides are prepared for you. Okay, the versatile application of frequency division multiplication in telecommunication is widely seen, widely accepted, and something which we see in day-to-day life. Something for us which is very important. We cannot live without our mobile phones. That is the true thing today. So FDM, so if we cannot live without a mobile phone, means we cannot live without FDM also. Traditional telephone system. FDM allows multiple voice signals to be transmitted simultaneously over a signal communication link by assigning each signal into a unique frequency band. So what does this tell? It tells us that voice signals from one place to another, if I'm calling from Bangalore to one of my friends from Mumbai, can be transmitted into a single communication network from one person to another without any loss of frequency by unique frequency band. Matlab, that means a different frequency band is allocated to you yourself to have your personal space, to have your personal talk. No one will be interfering you. Very good. Now, radio and TV broadcasting. As I have been shouting again and again, once more, radio and TV broadcasting is a very vital, essential element of FDM. It enables the transmission of multiple radio or TV channels through signal single transmission. Moving on to the next, satellite communication facilitates the transmission of diverse data streams to satellite by allocating the distinct frequency ranges each data or seamless communication. Simply, it helps us in seamless communication. FDM plays a vital role in satellite communication also. And broadband internet service. This is something which we all use. I think in today's modern era, there is very less people who don't use the broadband internet services. In this service, utilizing the broadband networks to combine multiple data streams into a single signal for efficient and effective data transmission over the shared medium. Moving on to the next slide. Okay, now comparison of FDM with TDM. Now we've known what is FDM. Let's see what is TDM. TDM is time division multiplexing. By the name only, we can understand that it has a time limit. It has a time axis. The TDM has time axis. Frequency-based separation, simultaneous transmission, higher complexity in the frequency management. This is of the FDM. FDM is based on frequency separation, simultaneous transmissions happen, a huge broadband, all the frequencies come together. What FDM does is divides the frequencies, gets the proper frequency we want. What does TDM do? Time-based separation, as we know that it has time management, it has time limits for it. Sequential transmission, it goes on to sequence by sequence transmitting. I think this transmission works on first come first serve transmission and higher complexity in time synchronization. Well, I believe FDM is far, far better than TDM because TDM has its own drawbacks and its own lag behinds. On to the next slide. Evolution and future trends in FDM. See, FDM is nothing new to us. FDM, we've been using frequency division multiplexing since a lot of years, since the birth of radio station and before. Like for example, in 1970s, integration of FDM with modern digital system of data transmission happened. The first time telecommunication was started in the world. The people started to communicate with their loved ones through telephones. Okay, and now mobile phones. An advancement was seen in 1990s, where the advancements in the frequency management techniques enhanced special efficiency. In the early 20th century, it saw a boom, a blast in the FDM industry, where inception of frequency division multiplexing, FDM, for telegraphy and telephony. And what does telegraphy and telephony made? It was made easier for the people, have your safe time, talk to your people you want, thousands of hours, waste your time, stay on call, no one is disturbing, no one is cutting a frequency, because FDM is saving you. FDM is providing you the proper frequency you want. Destroy yourself by sitting on phones. Okay, on to the next slide. The case study on FDM in the modern communication networks. This case study has been taken from the newspaper articles, from the Hindu, from Times of India, the Times of New York, and here and there as the implementations took place. So this is based on the facts and figures. I hope this facts and figures is correct because I just trusted the newspapers. In today's era, it's difficult to trust anyone, even the news media. Okay, so implementation in cellular networks. Frequency division multiplexing FDM utilized in cellular networks to transmit multiple signals simultaneously over single communication channel. And man, it's simple. By now, I think you understood. This is something which, anyone can understand by now if you're listening to me carefully. Next one, example of FDM in 4G light. Okay, sounds a little interesting. What is 4G light? What is the example? 4G light network F, employ FDM to divide the available bandwidth into multiple frequency channels, enabling concurrent transmission of data in improved network performances. I think we've been beating around the bush. We've been doing the same thing, but then this is what it is about the FDM. Simple. Break the channel, divide and rule is what happening here. Go back and check what I have told you is similar theme in the 4G light also. Okay. And now, let me move myself to the right. Perfect. Yeah. Impact on network efficiency and capacity. FDM significantly enhances network efficiency by maximizing the utilization of available bandwidth. Okay. FDM utilizes the available bandwidth to its maximum capacity to enhance the network efficiency, is what this point has to tell us. Okay. Now, lessons learned and the best practice. Experience from the FDM deployments highlights the importance of proper channel allocation. Yes, we have to be strict with the allocation to channels we do. Interference management and continuous monitoring to optimize network performance and reliability. This is what the case study has to tell us. On to the next and maybe the last slide. Wow, how beautiful this telephone into the iPhone. I don't know what looks. Okay, make by me, gentlemen. Thanks later. Okay, so thank you everyone. This is what work is about FDM. For any questions you have, my comment box is on. The like button is yours. Till it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed it yet. For many more interesting videos on electronics and maybe the world, I'll be coming back to you. I'll be regular to you. I promise you. This is the promise I keep doing. I'm like an MP or an MLA. I keep promising you, and then I never come back. I know. But then